Ciao ragazzi, come state? In this video, I'm just trying to introduce the theory behind the subjunctive. Not the conjugations or anything like that, just the theory and a quick reminder of what verbs would be considered opinions and things like that. So let me get going, okay? So, here we go. In general, if you pay attention, there are two main ways of presenting events, things, etc. So the main way, I would say, is we indicate how things are, implying that what we see is exactly how it is. For example, photography would be a good example of this, right? Oh, okay, that's reality. Just took a photograph of this young lady, and then you'll say, oh, the girl has dark eyes. End of story, right? I just indicated something. However, we also can say how we think, hope, wish, feel things are, right? So that's more subjective. It's more open to maybe opening a conversation, for example. So for this image, which is by Picasso, the artist Picasso, Spanish, I think this is a girl, but she could be an old lady or the image of a statue. This is really much more of an open statement, and it's subjective. So in English, look at this. In English, I could just make number one quickly and number two. Oh, I think the girl has dark eyes. Boom. You did nothing. All you did is add I think, and you were good to go, right? In Italian, unfortunately, it's not so simple. So in Italian, when we indicate how things are, so that's our first option, right, the photograph, implying that what we see is exactly how it is, we use the verb form of the indicative. In Italian is known as the indicativo mode. So you see the words, just to help you with the grammar words, indicates, right? So these are, for example, presente, passato prossimo, imperfetto, futuro, all the verbs that you have studied so far, basically. The conditional is in a different category. But, however, in Italian, when we say how we think, hope, wish, feel that things are, we can't just add I think to the sentence and continue on our merry way. We must also use a verb that supports the sense that this is a thought, a hope, a wish, a feeling. This is if the subjects are different. This type of verb will be found in a new mode called subjunctive. You see, subjunctive goes with subjective. You see that when something's subjective, it means that it's how you feel about it. It's just your opinion, your thoughts, your emotions. So the name itself reminds us that it is subjective. In English, you go from one type of sentence to the other very simply. The weather is nice, so you indicate, or I think the weather is nice, so you state an opinion. In Italian, once you put the verb indicating hopes, thoughts, etc. at the beginning of a sentence, which will be at the indicative, your second verb will be at the subjunctive mode. The subjunctive mode has one present and three past tenses. So let's get that second sentence. I think that the weather is nice. So you have your opening sentence, which is I think. That's your first half. Then you're saying your statement. So that's known as a secondary clause. And here the subject is the weather. So I think that the weather is nice. So you have a thought, a feeling about something else. Okay? So here you have the word that, which connects the two sentences. So that. In English it can be omitted, in Italian it won't. So I think will be at the indicative mode because we're not saying, oh, maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'm not. The fact that you're thinking is not up for discussion. Okay, so your opening is at the indicative. The indicative is the usual one that you're used to using. And then the weather is nice. So in Italian we have to switch this because we have to support the idea that this is a thought. Okay, so here we will use a subjunctive mode. So this is your very first sample sentence with a subjunctive, and the verb to be happens to be irregular, but this was too much of a good sentence, so I'm giving it to you anyway. Io penso, so I think, statement, io penso che. So here, oops, che is your linking. I hope that goes away. Yeah. Il tempo, the weather, sia buono. Now we'll teach you all the conjugations in a minute. This is more the conceptual issue right now that we're going through. So I hope that this helps you. Okay, so quickly. Main clauses. These are examples. I made this an acronym with a class. So some can be repetitive. They're just various examples of main clauses. So number one will be at the indicative. Okay, so if you have something expressing wish or an impersonal expression. This one's a bit weird. Impersonal expressions like, oh, it is good that. It is strange that. So you say, oh, those not. So those are, in a way, general opinions. Although they might not be yours, they're general opinions, so it works in this way of thinking. Doubt, so you doubt something, but you're not really sure, right? You doubt. Opinion, so that's subjective. Will, so it's your will, wish. Emotion. Emotions, subjunctive is all about emotions, right? And desire. So desire, will, wish, doubts, those are all emotions, so basically. But so we made it into widowed. This is a way to remember various examples that support the subjunctive. So if you have a different subject, you will have che plus your verb at the subjunctive, which I really haven't told you how to do yet. Don't worry, I will. If it's the same subject, so I think that I am kind. I think that I'm kind. You don't need to reconjugate again because it's the same subject, so it's too much work. So we just say di plus infinitive. Quindi io penso di essere gentile. Va bene? So that's with the same subject. Okay, so the subjunctive is only if you have different subject and those openers. So this is for later. I will give you this in class. So what I did here is give you various examples of, this is a huge, basically the whole lesson is on this sheet. So these are sample verbs for wish. I will have one for impersonal, it just didn't fit. Doubt, so you have desiderare, preferire, sperare. These are sample verbs that can be at the beginning, okay, that open the door to a subjunctive. Immaginare, dubitare, supporre, pensare, credere, ritenere, volere, emotions, avere paura, temere, essere felice, essere triste, sperare, that's to hope. Okay, this is in two places. And then this is a reminder. And these are the conjugations and avere and essere, but we haven't gotten there yet. This is more of a summary slide. So, the necessary elements for a subjunctive are either a widowed opener, so a wish, impersonal expression, special words, or relative superlative. Honestly, we are not going to be working on the second two for now, but I really wanted you to know that. And, if or se, if, which in Italian is se, which we usually do in Italian 5 and AP. And the second necessary thing is that there has to be a different subject. Now, this does not apply to special expressions which don't have a subject, but we are not really going to go there now. I just like my notes to be, thorough. So if you want to learn more, the information is here. So, got to pay attention here. So, if the subject of the two sentences is the same, you can't have a subjunctive. Instead, you will have di plus infinitive. So, lei pensa di essere brava. That was a repeat. Okay, attention. Not every time you have che, you will have a subjunctive, because che is a relative pronoun and it can connect other types of sentences. Just keep an eye open for that one. Okay, these are special cases that that for some reason take the indicative. So the word secondo me, in my opinion, takes the indicative. And sapere, if it's affirmative, it takes the indicative, because if I know something, I'm not saying, there's no doubt, there's no thinking, I just know. But if I don't know, then it's a doubt. And then the next two, let's not worry about those right now. Okay, so here I have a list of openers. So first is wish, desiderare, preferire, sperare, which we already saw, to wish, to desire, to prefer, and to hope. And here are the impersonal expressions. We learned these in Italian 3. I'm not going to go over them now because this is not what we're doing. Okay, but just quickly, è bene che, è male che, è bello che, è brutto che, è giusto che. So you can say these aren't your opinions, but we can say that they are cultural opinions, maybe, or of a country or of a group of people. Okay, è sbagliato che, è possibile che, è impossibile che, è importante che, è essenziale che, è strano che, è probabile che. È normale che, è logico che, è facile che, è difficile che, è inutile che, è meglio che, è preferibile che, può darsi che, could be, pare che, seems that, sembra che, seems that, it is said, si dice che, bisogna che, it's necessary, basta che, it's enough that, conviene che, it's a good idea that we do something. So they are followed by che plus congiuntivo. If you then apply them to a specific subject. Otherwise, don't add the che and just put the following verb at the infinitive. So it's basically always the same thing. Okay? Benissimo. So that was I, widowed, right? We do W-I-D, doubt. So immaginare che, dubitare, to doubt. And then we have this verb that I really think you should learn. It's a bit special. Supporre, to suppose. So this one has a special here, the G. Okay, so these are all openers. That's why I can show you these without having taught you how to conjugate the subjunctive, because the openers are at the indicative. Poi for opinions, pensare, credere, ritenere. Ritenere is to believe. So some are synonyms, but it's good to enrich your vocabulary. And this one has the funky G that appears here too, so you want to pay attention to that. And crazy, 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 secondo me, which means, in my opinion, does not take the subjunctive. Okay, so this is just a weird one. You have to learn it. Will, so volere, right? Voglio. Io voglio che voi capiate il congiuntivo. So emotions. So these are all examples. It's not limited to these verbs. It's just to give you a repertoire of verbs that you can start your sentences with. Avere paura, temere. Temere also means to be afraid. Essere felice and essere triste. Desire is sperare. And that's it. And on the next one, I will show you how to conjugate at the regular present. Okay, I hope this helped. This is just the theory behind it. I really love the subjunctive. I know it seems very extra, but it's actually super cool to be able to know how to use it correctly. I hope this helped you.